Oh, hey, it's Mr. Meister. How are you? I'm actually here in the foods room, and you're probably wondering, Mr. Meister, this is a video class. I know you love to eat, but really, the foods room? There actually is a good reason why I'm here, and I'll get to that in just a minute. But before we do that, I kind of want you to have an overview of what we're talking about. If I was to title this series of lectures you're going to hear, beginning with this one, it would probably be how to make a good video great. And a lot of you know how to make a good video, but I want to teach you how to make great videos. That's my job. And that brings me as to why I'm here in the foods room. Over the years, I have had my share of Kraft macaroni and cheese. I have had too many boxes to count. My kids have probably had too many boxes to count. It's not because I love it. It's not because I think it's the best meal ever. It really isn't. But it's quick and it's easy, and when you're hungry, it's a great way to get yourself filled up pretty quick. Now, you're probably wondering, what does this have to do with anything? I'll get to that in just a minute. But let's first go back to that first day you walked into my TV class. Oh, what a great day that was, right? No, the truth of the matter is, when you walked in, you had a phone. I'm sure you've used video on your phone before. I'm sure at some point in your life you've gotten behind a camera and you've hit that little record button and seen that little REC button light come on, and you already know how to videotape stuff. And many of you probably even knew how to edit and make a video. Some of you probably were like, hey, I posted on YouTube. I know what I'm doing, all right? And yes, you didn't necessarily need me to know how to do all that stuff. But I want to teach you how to make a good video even better. The same way at the foods classes here at MHS, the teachers here will teach you how to make a really good meal, probably a more nutritious meal, a balanced meal. Matter of fact, if they're doing a macaroni and cheese unit, I bet you they're not doing it from a box, but they're making it from scratch, and it probably tastes a whole lot better. Now, my point of that is I could probably go the next 20 or 30 years and eat that Kraft macaroni and cheese and probably be okay. But I'd be missing out, because I could make that good meal really great if I dived in and tried learning a little bit more. And that's what these next few lectures are going to be about, is about you taking some skills that you already have and saying, hey, let's do more with that. Let's make it better. So let's get into that. As you know, any video has 3 stages as you're building it. The first stage is called pre-production, or planning. And when you're planning out your video, you're basically thinking through everything that you want to do with that video. The second stage is production. That's where you have the camera and you're actually filming and doing all that kind of stuff. And then the third stage is post-production, and this is where you're editing. I don't care who you are. You could be a student in my class, or you can be Steven Spielberg out in Hollywood. Both of you are still going through the same 3 stages. Think about it. When I assigned the What's My Line assignment, what was the first thing I had you do? Write a script and plan it all out of what you were going to say. The next day you came in and you filmed it, and then the third or fourth day you started editing it and putting it all together. Those are the 3 stages of any production. So what we're going to do over the next day or two is talk about each of those 3 stages and how to do a better job at each of them. So let's start off with pre-production. That is where you are planning out your video. So many students I've seen in the past just want to grab a camera and start filming. And they're like, oh, I got a great idea in my head. You're going to love it. It's going to be a quality video, Mr. Meister. Truth of the matter is, those videos usually stink. The really good videos are the ones where people take some time and plan it out. Whether it's a comedy, whether it's some kind of scary movie you're making, or even a news story or a small project for my class. Take the time and plan it out. Now, just like your English teachers would say, hey, if you want to write a good paper, you need to have a couple of parts to it. Well, your videos are the exact same way. Your videos need to have an introduction. Your videos need to have a body where a bunch of stuff is happening. And then at the end of your video, you got to have some kind of conclusion to it, so your audience kind of knows it's over, they see the ending coming, and maybe you're even challenging them to think about something in a different way. You need to do that same thing with your videos. Matter of fact, in the English classes, I know they teach you to write a thesis statement. A thesis statement is that 1 or 2 sentences that pretty much define the whole video. When you have a good thesis statement, you're off to a great start. Now, let me show you a video here. Take a look at this video. You tell me if you think it's good or bad, and then we'll talk when it's done.
Push me and then just touch me till I can get my satisfaction. 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 Satisfaction.
Push me, and then just hurt me.
Why did the boy eat his homework?
Why?
Because his teacher said it was a piece of cake.
Satisfaction. Satisfaction.
What did the earthquake say to the ground?
What?
You crack me up.
Hey, you guys! Hopefully you see why planning in your videos is so important. So many students want to skip the planning process and just grab a camera and go out there and film, but the reality is it's a really important step. That video you just watched has no thesis statement, it has no point. It's dancing cheeseburgers, it's a cat, it's a whoopee cushion, it's a person or two telling a joke, it's someone smearing their face up against glass, it's dancing with your head, all right? As entertaining as that is, your audience doesn't know where the video is going or where it's going to end up, and as a result, they just kind of get confused and kind of lose interest, honestly, after a while. I don't want that to happen to your videos. Your videos need to have a point. Matter of fact, while we're talking about points, while we're talking about the importance of planning, let me maybe define it a different way for you. I'm not into weapons and I'm not into, shooting things, but let me show you a picture of this guy here. He's holding a shotgun. Now, I don't know much about hunting, but I do know that if you are hunting rabbit and you are 25 feet away from your rabbit and you fire that shotgun at the rabbit, you're going to probably hit your rabbit because it's shooting a spray of pellets out and it's going to hit the rabbit and probably more. All right. Now, let me show you another picture, and this is a picture of a woman with a bow and an arrow. Now, what's at the end of the arrow? Don't say feathers, the other end. At the other end of that arrow is a point. And if you are going to be hunting with a bow and an arrow, you got to be a lot more skilled and a lot more precise. And that probably means you're a better hunter. Well, the same is kind of true when you're making videos. Anyone can go out and do the shotgun approach with a video camera and just kind of shoot a little bit of everything and hope you get something and here it all is. That's the video you just saw a minute ago. It was a little bit of everything. There really was no point or objective. It takes a little bit more skill to hunt with an arrow. It takes a little bit more skill to make a better video. And that skill is usually rooted in the importance of having a good plan before you ever pick up that camera. So whatever video you're making, whether it's from my class, something at home, or something down the road, please always make sure you put a little bit of time and effort into planning that out. And another example I'd love to give you about that is like driving to Florida. Now, when I drive to Florida, I like to look at a map before I start and look at the highways that I'm going to be taking. And when I get to Indianapolis, am I going to go through the city, east or west? And I like to know all these things before I start driving. Because it's very unnerving for me when I'm in my car, knowing I want to be going south, and I look at the little GPS thing, and it says I'm going northwest. Now, some of you might say, oh, Mr. Meister, your phone has GPS, and it just follows the directions. You don't need to look at a map. Now, if you and I were both going to Florida, and I was using my map, and your GPS was broken, you'd still say, well, I know where Florida is. It's south. I'll just go south. I'm going to look at a map, and I'm probably going to get there pretty quick. You are going to get there too, but you might have a detour or two where you get lost, you turn around, you see a sign that says welcome to Texas, and you're like, oops, I better go east a little bit. All right, you will make it to Florida, but the chances are that I'll get there before you. Now, what in the world does this have to do with your videos? A lot of people, when they're making videos, do the exact same thing. They do it without a map, and they just go step by step and kind of make it up as they go along. And I would encourage you, don't do that. Know where you're going with each scene of your video. And just like when I'm driving to Florida and I have my route all planned out, if I see a billboard that says, hey, there's this really cool shop over here 3 miles off of the road, do you want to go see it? I might be like, yeah, I'm turning off and I'm getting off of the tollway and I go see whatever the ridiculous site is. And then when I'm done, I now know how to get back onto the road because I have a plan and I'm not just making it up step by step. Your videos need to have that same kind of plan. It's okay to deviate from your plan when you're making a video, but you need to make sure that how to get back on track. The next thing that I would say about planning is, yes, it's important to have an objective, it's important to have a point, it's important to know where you're going, but I would also say it's really important to write it down. My wife may say to me, hey, can you swing by the grocery store on the way home and pick up milk, bread, butter, some cereal, and some eggs? And I'm thinking, okay, I'm an adult, I'm an educated person. I can remember 5 things at the store. So she tells me those things and it's like, dun, dun, dun. Got it, all right. Guess what happens when I get to the store, take the key out of the car and I'm walking in the store? Especially if I, like walk past the candy aisle or something, or the Kraft macaroni and cheese aisle, all right? I forget everything. And it's like, okay, I know she said milk. What else? What else? And my point is it'd be a really good idea if I wrote everything down that she wanted me to do, because then I could get in the store and out of the store really quick because I know what it is I need to do. Otherwise, I'm walking up and down all the aisles trying to be like, oh man, I can't remember what it was. You got to have that grocery list, and that'll save you a ton of time. Again, your videos are the same way. When you don't see what you want, you're like, I'm not going to waste my time with this. And so when I'm filming a video and I'm asking people what their favorite jokes are, and they're like, I don't have a joke, then don't waste any more time on them. Not to be rude, but say, hey, my video is about people telling jokes. So then go on to the next person. Because the girl who made that last video didn't know how to do that, so she filmed them dancing with her hen, she filmed dancing cheeseburgers, she filmed whoopee cushions, and as a result, the video just kind of went all over because she didn't have something to go back to and say, here's what I want to do. So write all of your plans down, and then that way when you're building your story, you always have something to come back to, and you're not making it up as you go along in your head. If you've ever been to a construction site, every good builder somewhere on that construction site has a blueprint. And that blueprint is everything laid out of how to build the structure. Now, I know professional builders probably could build the structure without the blueprint, but there's a reason they have that blueprint, because they need to know this is what I'm always coming back to. This is the plan that I have, and this is the way it's supposed to be done. Many years ago, I promised my daughters I would build them a playhouse in the backyard of our house. And finally the summer came and I said, okay girls, I'll get going on this. And I started sitting at the kitchen table for almost 2 days, planning and writing and making notes and doing all kinds of stuff. And finally one of the girls came to me and was like, Dad, you said you were going to build us a playhouse and you haven't started yet. And the truth of the matter is, yeah, I already had started. I was making up blueprints. I was drawing up how it would look, how tall things should be, and I was making lists of everything I need to buy, how many windows, how many skylight, how many 2x4s, how many 2x6s, how many sheets of plywood, which way will the door swing in or out. And then I was able to go to Home Depot with my list of stuff, and I came home and I unloaded it all in the backyard, and I got that house built pretty quick. Now, what does the kids' playhouse have to do with your videos? Well, the reality is if you plan out every detail of your videos the same way I planned out a lot of those details for the house, your videos are going to turn out much better, and honestly, you're going to get them done much quicker. The best videos I've seen over the years are not the ones where the students are really smart, or they had more time, or they have a super cool camera. The reality is the best videos are the ones where the students take the time up front and plan them out. And when they realize that there's more to making a video than just grabbing a camera and shooting, suddenly their pretty good video becomes great. Oh, I'm smelling something good. I think I'm going to need to go in just a minute. Know that next time we meet, we're going to touch upon some of these highlights about the importance of planning out your video so you can make your good videos great. And again, why is that so important? Well, it's for the same reason that I'm here in the foods room. Kraft macaroni and cheese is good, but honestly, the foods teachers here at Mundelein could teach me quite a few things. And I hope you see learning about how to make better videos the same way. Until the next time we see each other, have a wonderful night, day, night, evening, whatever it is.